Hello there. Hi, I'm Lisa Michaels. That's right. You tuned in again. It's What's Between Us. It's a show where we talk about relationships. We get it all out on the table and learn things that we didn't already know about the opposite gender. Of course, this is a G-rated show, so don't mention that three-letter word that has the X in it. Strictly forbidden. But other than that, that's pretty much the only main rule we have. It's just have fun and talk about these issues as though we're sitting around the kitchen table and we've got it filled with little kids listening to our every word. So it's fun, and I represent the female's perspective for what it's worth. And I have a different guy representing the male's perspective. And drum roll, please. Our guy for tonight is back by popular demand, Brad Elliott. Brad is a producer here at TVCTV as well, so you might have seen him on other shows.
Sure.
So Brad, welcome. How does it feel to be back?
Well, you know, I think this is my third time I've been on, and every time it is different. But I'm looking forward to this time because we've talked a little bit ahead of time about what we're going to talk about. Yeah. And that's a subject that I think is going to be very interesting.
It's a rare occasion,
yes,
but sometimes I do end up talking about things that you know, that I get we discuss in advance. And there's a lot of stuff going on with the show. Just a little bit of background information. Our wonderful director, Dennis Gleason, is going to be sometimes with us and sometimes not with us.
Retiring.
He's kind of retiring and handing off the baton to a wonderful director by the name of Dean Carlstrom. Dean is in there learning from the master as we speak. And can we go into the control room and show these guys?
Do a control room shot.
Can we do the control room shot?
What's that, number 9 or something like that on the switchboard?
What is it in there? There they are. Okay, Dean, turn around, wave.
Goodbye, Dennis.
There's Dennis. Okay. All right. Well, there it is. And he's going to be taking over, so that's going to be kind of fun. But Dennis will still be doing the website, whatsbetweenus.org, where you can find the links to my YouTube and my Google videos if you want to see any of my older shows, or if you'd like to email me and you'd like to be representing the male's perspective on the show, or if you want to represent the female's perspective. Occasionally I have what I call the View of Beaverton, where I have a bunch of gals on there and we just chit-chat about men. It's really a lot of fun. So drop me a line on the email through the website, whatsbetweenus.org. Tell me what your opinions are about topics that we discuss, or if you'd like to be a guest on the show. And also,
or if they have a topic, can't they email you if they have a topic they want discussed?
Great. Oh yeah.
Okay.
We'd love to get topics.
Like talk about whatever.
You know, some sort of issue that's you know,
Sure.
that's concerning you. We don't take on really deathly serious ones. And you must understand one thing. This is very, very important that you remember. We are doctors of absolutely
nothing.
Nothing.
No.
Not one thing. So we will not give you any expert opinion, but we all fuss about these things, and we all think about these things, and we get them together, and then we talk about them on this show. And then we do this thing called Portland Perspectives, where we go out and we'll put you on television. Maybe you saw me out and I came up to you and said, do you want to be on my little cable access show? And you said, sure, and I put you on, and I asked you a question when the videotape was running, and you might see yourself on these. And we ask a whole bunch of people the same question, and we get all their answers all in one fell swoop, and it's a lot of fun. And let's start out the show. We are going to do this again. If you want to be on my show, and you want to be in my Portland Perspectives, but you don't want to like come down and spend the whole evening sitting on the couch chatting about these things, but you just want to put in your 2 cents and be in Portland Perspectives, then you can come out to Bullwinkle's and the Family Fun Center on June 1st. That's Sunday, June 1st in the afternoon. I'm thinking about somewhere around 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock probably 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Bullwinkle's and Family Fun Center out in Wilsonville. That's where I did it before, and I want to show you some video that we took at Bullwinkle's the last time, and that was we went out and asked them how they show their love or thoughtfulness, and it's the first cut on disc number 6, and so we're going to try to go to that whenever the
We try to be spontaneous, you know, flowers here and there when she's least expecting it. hugs and kisses, you know, just let her know that I care and love for her, and just the little things, I believe. I believe little things are the best thing.
Doing the small things that make her happy, as far as waking up in the morning so she doesn't have to.
The little things like kisses on the forehead and holding his hand.
And holding hands and maybe buy him stuff.
My little sister, my big sister's out a lot, but my little sister, I play with her on our trampoline and our swing set a lot.
Like play my saxophone for them and stuff. I like do little things like pick up like dirty clothes and walk the dog. And yeah, on Valentine's Day I made them cards, gave them candy.
Oh, make nice meals. Plan little surprises. Try to keep my kids happy.
Just giving her everything that I can every day. You know, it's hard to be in a marriage for 13 years that I've been in, but it takes a lot of work. But it's not so much just doing things together, it's just being able to be one, making decisions with each other as far as family, kids, or just life in general. And you know, that's why I feel like that's where I make my marriage work. You know, it's just doing, you know, being able to do things together and just being part of life with each other.
Say it really loud.
Pepper. She likes to bring me flowers too. Like hang out with my sister, and so I hang out with my whole family, and I love them very much. So
I tell her a lot. I do things special for her. She doesn't necessarily like flowers, so instead I'll get her like a palm tree or a plant or something like that. If I'm not with her, I call her every 10 minutes. And I give her lots of hugs and kisses.
I'll listen to them and doing what they ask and stuff. So
Tell her that, give her letters that say so, and be nice to her through everyday acts, kindness.
I tell him every day. I just tell him every day I love him and just make sure that he knows it, giving him little hugs and kisses just to make sure he knows. So how do I show him that I love him? Just by being affectionate and compassionate and being honest and trustworthy and just everything. Nicest thing ever done for me when we were dating. So it was like 10 o'clock at night and I got a knock at the door and he was like, let's just go. And we started driving and 2 hours later we ended up at the beach here in Oregon. It was the first time I've ever gone to the beach here in Oregon. And it was midnight when we got there and it was just absolutely gorgeous. And there was dinner and drinks and just very romantic.
I just try to, you know, I text him good morning and good night, and we try to hang out every day and just, you know, basic, you know, high school stuff, but we're out of high school, so we just try to be cute all the time and never get bored of each other, try new things, and we actually met working together, so we just hang out at work and stuff. And it's just really cool, you know, to have that other person that you can share life with and be totally chill around.
By letting her always be right.
I do things like sometimes just little random things like unloading the dishwasher or cleaning up after they do something, or just trying to help them out in any way I can. And I take my younger brother out and hang out with him and just like talk to him about like different things that are going on in school with him and stuff like that. Well, I like to do art, and so we make stuff, and I've made her like, I've painted like custom shoes for her, and we go out to dinner sometimes, and I don't know, we talk and have a good time. She knows that I love her.
The nicest thing I've done for somebody else was the time I almost got married. I got engaged, and I rented the entire bottom floor of a restaurant in Northwest Portland. Had sent a limousine for her, took her to Nordstrom so she could get her new outfit and the nails and the hair. And then when she showed up at the restaurant that night, I lit about 100 candles from the top of the stairway all the way down to the table, where I had the entire bottom floor to myself, and I was waiting in a tuxedo, bent on one knee with a ring, and asked her to marry me.
I buy them presents and stuff and give them hugs.
Usually we just go out and play sports together, you know, like basketball and football, you know, have some fun with each other, mess around, you know, pick on each other, have fun. I like to do like the little things, you know, show her that I care, of course. You know, flowers on, you know, random occasions, you know, just things like that.
Lots of ways, saying nice things, going places, remembering all the little details, just compliments every day. He went to Colorado to train for 6 weeks for the NFL, and he came back a week early and surprised me. And that was probably one of the nicest things he's ever done.
Hold her hand, kiss her on the cheek, take her, say nice things to her, whisper sweet nothings in her ear. You know, standard, just nice guy stuff. And nicest thing she's ever done for me. Made a nice dinner, candlelight dinner at her house.
Hello there. That's it. See how much fun it was out there at Bullwinkle's in the Family Fun Center. We're going to go out there again, and we're going to do that on June 1st. Okay, that's Sunday, the weekend after Memorial Day weekend, so around 3 o'clock. And if you see me there, sitting outside, don't be shy. Come up and tell me that you've seen the show and that you'd like to be on TV. Even if you don't want to be on TV, but you'd like to see it, or maybe somebody you're with wants to, but please come up and say hello. And, you know, I'm starting to feel like nobody watches the show. I hope they do. I think they do. People tell me they see the show. I think it's a good idea to do a show to talk about this, because there's not a show like this on here. This is the most interactive show you could be in. You can be on and be my co-host like Brad. You can call in on the phones, which we are expecting you to do this evening. Oh, by the way, if you're watching this live on Wednesday night, the 14th of May, and weigh in on this and be the third person in our conversation, or you can come out and do a Portland Perspectives on June 1st around 3 o'clock at Bullwinkle's in the Family Fun Center. So think about it, plan it, and hopefully we'll have nice weather. Wasn't that beautiful weather we had there?
Oh my gosh, it was great.
Didn't just make you want to go outside? We had pretty weather today too, didn't we?
I sat out and ate my dinner out here in the parking lot before I came in tonight.
Did you really?
Oh gosh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I went to look for cars today.
Did you really?
New cars, the hybrids.
Oh,
you know?
really?
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever been in a hybrid.
And what did you think?
Well, I think they come a long ways. And they still have a little ways to go. You know, the
Do they have the pick up and go like you'd like?
Yes, they do. They really do. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's great.
Yeah. And so I saw Who Killed the Electric Car just recently.
No.
Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, it's a great show. It's about, you know. Well,
is it like a movie? Or
no,
I mean,
it's a documentary on the electric cars that they have.
Oh, is it on the Discovery Channel or something?
As a DVD. It's out of the library.
Oh,
yeah, it's a documentary. But
well,
anyway, so I went
great.
and said, hey, maybe I should get a more green car than my Subaru. So.
All right. Wow.
Yeah. But,
so my boys want me to get a new car, but I'm going to get another gas guzzling minivan. That's just me.
Okay, well.
There it is. So, but anyway, we wanted to talk about tonight. You might have seen on the bottom of the screen. Our topic is
who's keeping score?
Who's keeping score? Tell us, what does that mean to you? Who's keeping score?
Wow. Well, as we talked a little bit earlier, you know, men and women are different, and I'm thinking that men think more forward, you know, like what's coming up tomorrow and how to, you know, what are we going to do this weekend and that sort of thing, where women have this scorecard they keep, you know, like, well, you know, last week, last year, whatever, this happened, that happened.
That's what that Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus guy says.
Right, yeah.
He says that we women keep score a lot more. And we keep score different. I don't know if we, actually I think he said that both of us keep score, but men's keep score differently than women do. Like, do you remember the specific things more, or do you remember the whole incident more?
Well, to me, I think it has to do with sort of the intention, the overall feeling that you had at the time. Not the actual event, but it's like, you know, it's trying to put that person in perspective, what's happening.
Do you think men hold more grudges? Well, this is a gross generalization, but that's what this show's all about, gross generalizations.
Yeah. Well, I
or do you
don't
think
know.
women keep more of a grudge? I mean, in your life's experience.
Yeah. I think it depends on what the kind of event it is. you know, because everyone can be forgiving, but I think it's the, you know, whether it's if you were late, or versus whether you were cheated on them, you know, I think there's different kinds of things that can happen and go
You have
wrong.
a threshold of grudge keeping.
Yeah, and I used to think that no one could ever be forgiven for cheating.
Mm-hmm.
But I found out, you know, several years ago that some people, they went, you know, people, they would let their person back in their life even though they had been unfaithful.
That's an interesting thing. Was this person that let the person back into their life a male or a female? The one that was cheated on.
I did. I was cheated on one time. I was engaged several years ago, and she was unfaithful to me. And
ooh.
Yes, and so I threw her out, and she came back crawling on her knees, and I never thought I would take her back, but I did. You know. And
wow.
Yeah.
I thought you said it was somebody else, but have you seen anybody else who's done that too?
Well, she has since married somebody, so she went off.
Well, obviously
she went off, became unfaithful again.
Oh, did you kick her out a second time because she was unfaithful, or did it just fall apart and then she?
It fell apart, and I just, you know, for other reasons. But anyway, she went on and married somebody else. Yeah.
I wonder why do people cheat?
Now that's a good question. Yeah.
Why
always looking for it's always greener. The grass is greener on the other side of the hill. I
just don't know. I mean, you know, I always used to think, well, I've been cheated on too, but I used to think, well, if they don't want to be with me, then I don't want to be with them either. So, you know, when just a big fat red sign saying stop, and just go someplace else and seek elsewhere. Because that's what obviously they did. So, but yeah, it's been my experience from dating and all these many years. It seems to be that men seem to be a little bit more forgiving of the woman cheating than women do of the man cheating. However, I don't think women are as likely.
Do you remember the town hall show years ago here in Portland?
Yeah.
With
They don't do that anymore.
And you know, they had a show. I was on that a couple of times, and they had a show one time. They talked about where married people were on, and they were asked to show hands. I forget how they did it. They didn't like have people revealed that, but if they had cheated in their marriage, and I was surprised at how many raised their hand, or at least somehow indicated they had been unfaithful at one time or another.
Could you tell whether there were more men or more women that were raising their hand?
What was surprising to me, there was just almost all the women had been unfaithful, and at least that was that show. Now, I don't know if that's representative of our population.
It's scary. I don't know, way back in the day, because my parents were actually.
I wonder if Jack Faust,
victims of unfaithfulness. I won't say who did what where.
Can we request a call? If Jack Faust, if you're watching, Jack Faust, would you call in?
Oh my gosh, you've outed him by his whole last name and everything. Usually.
Don't you remember him? He was an attorney.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
And this was back, 10 or 15 years or something like that? I don't know if he's still in town or around or what the scoop is.
Well, I talked to my divorce attorney about it, and I said, well, why do you see most of the marriages falling apart? And he said that a lot of it is the women don't feel like they need the men anymore because they earn a living, and they don't need to have the men there anymore, and they maybe just become too much trouble, more trouble than they're worth, I guess.
Yeah,
ouch.
That's right. I know.
And you know, another thing I wanted to talk about today was also, why is it that we tend to be the meanest to the people that we're the closest to?
That was supposed to be our subject, and I was.
That's one of our subjects. Well, it goes along with keeping score.
It is, yeah.
Because part of the reason you're keeping score and being mean to the other person is because you're holding grudges and all this baggage of she said this to me back then and he said that to me, and I can't believe he expects me to do this when he said that or she did this. And, you know, nobody's, you know, it should be you and your spouse against the world. It shouldn't be just you, you know, on your own against your spouse and the world. Because that's, you know, that's overwhelming odds if any way you look.
Yeah.
So you got to keep that in mind. But I don't know. Why do you think that is? I mean, have you found yourself when you've been in a, because I know you've never been married, but when you've had in a cohabitation situation, living outside the confines of holy matrimony in a sinful relationship? Now, have you found that you start to take the other person for granted and just not as nice to them as you were when you first fell for them and that sort of thing?
Well, from what I have seen in the past and heard and so forth, my conclusion now is that there's a set of value systems, with money and where the money, how the money gets spent, and whether you're early to rise, early to bed, or you're a night owl and sleeping all morning, and all those things as you live with a person start to become either something that draws you more together, or separates you, because I mean, money is very important. Some people want to save it all. There's misers, as the expression goes, and some want to run the credit card debt up all the way, as far as they can. And that's, of course, going to huge conflict, So you have to look. I told one time that you have to look for similar values in people, and if you want to, reduce the possibility of issues coming up. And but. Maybe call in. Is anyone out there? Do you have an idea that we're not that we're not covering here?
Yeah. Call in, and Christopher, do you make sure you got the audio on the phone? We had that one time. He didn't have the ringer on.
Oh.
It was ringing, and the audio wasn't on there.
Yeah.
So do call in and be the third person in our conversations, and tell us if you've had an experience where you found that you get into a relationship with people, with your significant others, person you love or care about quite deeply, and then you find that they're not as nice to you as they are to us. They're perfect strangers on the street, and you're not as nice to other people. You kind of take each other for granted and kind of bicker or snap at each other, and it's just, that's one of the big reasons why I don't think I've dated in so many years.
Because you don't like all the fighting?
I don't even want to deal with the stress. I got 3 boys. I don't need another one. I do. No, some of them are wonderful. I've met some wonderful men that are, but it's quite an ordeal to to undertake.
But our society, from when we were kids, and we were slightly different generations.
You might be a little bit older than me.
But
you don't color your hair like I do.
No, don't do a thing. This is original equipment, yeah. But the thing is, there was a sort of norm, a protocol, not that it was right at all, but when I was a kid, as far as how to be. Oh, Catherine, we have someone on hold.
Oh, we do.
We have
Kathleen.
a caller. Kathleen's on hold.
Go ahead and tell us what you think, Kathleen. Is this our
Hi,
Kathleen that we know?
Hey, first of all, how's everybody doing? You guys look great up there.
Yay,
thank you, Kathleen. Thanks.
I'm laying in bed. I got ice on my shoulder. It's really sore tonight, so sorry I can't be there.
Oh, we'll have you on again another time. You met Kathleen.
I did. That's right, Kathleen. You're a massage therapist.
Yes, as a massage therapist that you've seen on the show several times. So
what did you do to your shoulder?
Hey, it's sore, but
yeah. What did you do? Did you even figure out what you did to it?
I'm going to see my chiropractor tomorrow. I think I subluxated it somehow in my sleep.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Oh no!
Okay.
I know. I'm just laughing about it. But you guys are talking about some interesting stuff, and I just thought I'd comment on the fact that I think nowadays, people that get together, a lot of us have already been in relationships, and we've gone through a divorce or at least 1 or 2 breakups. There's not too many people that are together for, since they were in high school.
Yeah. And why is that?
So I think that what happens is that a lot of us have a lot of memory about loss and grief and things, and we bring that to the relationship, or can. And so that kind of compounds, certain parts of the relationship. And then also, too, I think that when you first get together, we don't really look at some of the things that possibly could bother us, in the long term.
Yeah, we just kind of brush over those.
Yeah, and after we live with them or get together with them, and often we live together before we marry, one
do you think living together is a good thing or a bad thing? What do you think, Kathleen?
I don't know anymore. I think it might be taking away from the quality of a relationship.
Have you lived with a man before that in the past?
Have I what?
Have you lived outside the confines of holy matrimony?
I've done it all.
You've done it all. There you go.
G-rated show now, Kathleen.
Yeah.
Let's not get
I've
too
got some
detailed.
experience. I mean, I've lived together, and I've married, and things like that. And the last marriage I was in, we had a 2-year period where I lived up in the gorge, and he lived in Hillsboro, and so we had like this kind of great relationship for 2 years, and then once I moved in, it really changed. So
went downhill.
Yeah, I kind of started getting pretty controlling, and that just wasn't okay for me. So
controlling. Now there's
but you didn't get married, or you just moved in with each other, or did you get married?
No, I married him before I moved in with him.
Okay, and then did you feel like his possession because you were his wife?
Yeah, something happened. I'm not sure. He started hiding money from me, and just a lot of fear going on. So I just
I'll be darned.
Became not okay for me. But I think one thing I wanted to comment too was that we can be living together, and we brush our teeth every morning together. This is kind of what I tell my clients. You brush your teeth every morning, and all of a sudden you look over and you decide you don't like the way he brushes his teeth.
Yeah.
Pretty soon you focus on it, and you focus on it.
Yeah.
And then pretty soon you can't stand to be in the room with him when he brushes his teeth. So you go in the bedroom, and you don't brush your teeth with him anymore.
Yeah.
And pretty soon it becomes so irritating to you that you have to leave the house when he brushes his teeth. This is all dramatic.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then pretty soon you focus on something that a person that, if you focus on something, it can become quite a big problem until you can't live with it anymore. And my experience is that next time I get in a relationship, it's, I think that I'm going to be more able to focus on the things that I do like and foster those things rather than focus on the things that I do not like.
Now, Kathleen, you just told us about a married situation. What's the longest you've lived with a man outside the confines of holy matrimony?
What was different about it? Or?
Yeah. What's the longest you've lived with a man not being married to them?
8 years.
Whoa.
Wow.
And how long
I
were
wanted to marry him after 5 years. In the last 3 years, I decided he wasn't really giving me what I wanted, and I broke it off after 8 years. It took me 3 years.
Wow.
So did you feel like that relationship was a better relationship than the marriage that you had when you got married to the guy? Or how do you feel like the dynamic of living together and not having the protection and the security of a marriage certificate? How did that affect you, the way you treated him, or how you felt when you were with him?
Well, I have to admit that I don't think that this marriage, I really don't think was holding it as high as I should have. So I know a lot of it came from me too. So it's not all him.
But compare that to the feeling that you had being somebody's girlfriend living with them. Living with the other guy.
I don't know. I was super madly in love with this 8-year relationship guy. I mean, he was the one for me, and I was completely head over heels. And so he put up with a lot of stuff from me too, because that was in my 20s. So I'm way more mellow than I was back then, and he really stuck it out with me, and that's kind of what I'm looking for now, is someone who's going to stick around and, help me out when I'm not feeling that great, or, give me a little push when I need a gentle nudge, and just be someone that's going to support me and not try to tear me down and control me. That's what I'm looking for.
So who keeps score? I mean, this score-keeping thing, do you think guys keep score? Did you keep score in your relationships? How'd that work?
Well, the first relationship, the 8-year relationship, I was pretty insecure a lot of times, and there were some things that went on in the beginning because I was pretty young. I became very jealous, so I kept score in regards to who he talked to and who he looked at, and just all those things that I just felt pretty insecure at times.
Huh.
I was pretty jealous. But this last marriage, he's definitely, even after we split up and divorced, he's definitely keeping score. I've forgotten it all and pretty much letting everything go, and he's still hanging on to a lot of stuff. So I think he's keeping score. I think it's an individual basis situation a lot of times. It depends on the person.
How about the situation, the fact that our society, from when you were a kid till to date, has sort of changed significantly about what you as a woman or as a man
Expected to
role
do.
is in a relationship. Has that? Have you felt that?
Yeah.
Like when you were a kid, when you were growing up, you saw stuff on TV, you saw your parents, and now as an adult, are you sort of mimicking or looking to mimic the same thing, or is there a completely different set of rules you have to play
How
by?
did you envision your life to be at this point?
That's a great question. I think that I've come back around full circle to wanting a more traditional relationship, but more on an equal basis. Like maybe it's a combination of kind of what I saw my grandma and my grandfather's relationship as, and kind of what I'm wanting today, and kind of what I'm seeing more being reflected in society today, and some of the TV shows and things like that. Kind of a more balanced relationship rather than it being a dogma. This is what the man does and this is what the woman does. But I think men do what they do and women do what they do, and some men want to fix stuff, so let them fix stuff.
I'm all for letting them fix stuff.
You just smile and say thank you. You're the greatest.
That's right. That's right.
It's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, let them fix stuff. I like that, Kathleen. That's a really good answer. I let them fix stuff. Yeah, so the next relationship I get into, if we start to get a little testy about something, I'll say, you know what, I'm sure there's something around this house that I can let you fix. Do you think the guy would be inspired by that?
Oh, well, I know. I like to fix things.
Really?
I like things that work.
So if we were dating and I got into an argument with you and I said, you know what, Brad, the toilet needs fixing, you would go fix the toilet and feel like you're all good about yourself and stuff?
Well, I think there's a satisfaction I can speak for guys, at least myself, and I think many that there's a sort of a satisfaction in keeping things working.
Yeah.
It's not as if, it's the same as like, I would say it's equivalent to cooking if you wanted to kind of use that as a feminine trait. They're being creative, you're taking, whatever it is and mixing it and making bread. Well, that's a sense of creativity, a sense of accomplishment. It's like showing your skills. Well,
figuring something out.
The same thing holds true with men. You're like, oh, there's light switches broken. Oh, this is great, and figuring out how to unscrew it and make it all work again. I get a pleasure out of it.
I get that feeling too sometimes when I've fixed
I just
stuff.
put rheostat lights in my home. And
Did you really?
And I just love it in my bathroom and my family room, and I just love it. It's just so neat. You can.
That is great. See, that might be the solution to women out there. If you're married, you're batting back and forth with your spouse, and just tell them to go fix something. What do you think, Kathleen?
Oh, that might be a little condescending or harsh, but I think that if you're
well, this is supposed to be kind of
getting to be in an argument. Yeah, if you're going to get an argument, just turn away and don't engage, and then just find something nice to say about them, and then let it pass. That's my advice.
There's your good thing. Well, Kathleen, thank you so much. We actually have a DVD, and I believe it's right after the. Actually, we've got what triggers an argument and how to end an argument, which is right after the cut that we just showed from Bullwinkle's. So maybe we could get that one all queued up. And do you have anything other comments that you'd like to go? We only have 2 lines, so we have to kind of.
Got someone else on hold?
Well, we might.
I don't want to hog up all your lines.
Well, no, but somebody might be calling. But anyway, do you have anything else?
That's fine. Good luck with your running for office.
Thank you very much.
That's right.
So much.
What office are you running for?
I'm running for state senate.
That's wonderful.
In Beaverton through Murray Hill, through Raleigh Hills, I always say. And
you good?
So it should be lots of fun. Of course, I'm running unopposed in the primary, so really don't have to worry. But I did get my lawn signs. I'm recycling my old lawn signs. I put white duct tape over representative, because that's what I ran for last time. And then we put magic marker over it, and we wrote Senate.
Yeah.
So who are you voting for president, Kathleen?
Who am I going to vote for president?
Yeah.
This is not a political show, dear.
That's part of a relationship.
Probably the one that fixes stuff.
I love it. How's that? Thanks a lot, Kathleen. You take care. I'll talk to you soon. You feel better. Bye-bye. All right, we're going to go to that cut. We're going to find out what triggers people to have arguments, and how do they end those arguments.
Things that triggered arguments for me when I was married were raising the children the right way that I thought and he thought. There were 2 different ways, and those were arguments. And that's pretty much about it, I think, with the kids.
Before a party, because I'm a obsessive compulsive person and I want it perfect, so everybody has to leave. think. I just let him win. We don't argue, actually.
How do I end an argument with my husband? I walk out of the room.
Do I end arguments?
Uh-huh.
I always let them win. With a kiss.
You know, we just kind of walk away for a while, let the steam blow off, and then, you know, we just kind of let it go. Don't hold on to it.
Don't say anything. Let her win.
Oh my gosh, that's a really good one. But when I did have a husband, well gosh, maybe that's the reason why I don't have a husband.
I don't argue with a significant other.
How I end a fight with my friend is probably just walk away.
All righty, there you go. We got a lot of ideas and what triggers fights and how do you end arguments. I like that one with a kiss. I thought that was really
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you do to end arguments?
Oh gosh. Well, I feel like I'm more on the logical side, so I really look for
Aren't
a solution.
men much more logical than we emotional women?
But I think, you know, if an argument is there, usually there's a reason for it. In my opinion, I feel like there's a reason for it. Like something is, you know, something's not balanced. Somehow they're not seeing something the same way. So I think arguments don't like end sort of frivolously like you showed there. I would say really you should end them with a sort of a logical conclusion. It's like, okay, what did we learn? What did we learn about ourselves?
What happens if you during the argument recognize the fact, or one of you recognizes the fact that you will never, ever, this is not, this is a true concept and this is a non-true concept. It's more of an opinion sort of thing, and you have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, agree to disagree, sure, yeah.
So,
yeah,
you know, but the other person doesn't see the agree to disagree thing. Then what do you do? I mean.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But I really think there's a variety of ends to it. I think, you know, I have admitted when I'm wrong, if I'm wrong.
You're probably seldom wrong.
But that's, you have to get a calendar out and mark them down because it's not going to.
There you go.
You know,
and
I think, but what I like to do is look back, and with my significant other right now is look back and say, okay, what do we learn by this? And what can we do to either, you know, be bigger people or broader people because of it? And it may sound kind of trite, but I think an argument means something's wrong, and it's either artificial or real. It could be, you know, something you're not seeing correctly.
Well, sometimes women, I don't know if men do this, but sometimes women will pick a fight with you because they're angry with you about doing something else you did, something that you were inconsiderate about them, and you hurt their feelings, and so they start a fight with you about something completely unrelated.
Well,
have men ever done that? Do you think men ever do that?
No, heavens no.
Kick the dog, you know,
no,
you get mad at work and come home and kick the dog.
Well, I don't artificially start anything. I think I can be, you can be, tired or something like that.
Well, if she said something to you in the morning and you stewed about it most of the day, and then you came home, and how would you handle that? Would you pick a fight with her about something completely different? And maybe you wouldn't even recognize that you were still upset about it, but something she does just bugs you because you're still bugged about the other things she did.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
that's
what comes into the issue.
I mean,
of your
you can't
own
always be
personal.
illogical with this whole disagreement thing.
Well, that comes in. You have to, assess your self-assessment. You know, what's going on? What's going on here inside me? Is it am I upset about what's currently here, or is it something baggage I'm carrying from what happened, a few hours ago or a few days ago? I'll tell you what, it really upset me recently here in the last several months, and that's this issues that, you have a conversation with somebody, and the salutation part of the conversation had been sort of normalized in our TV systems of not returning a salutation, say, okay, goodbye, and then the other person doesn't say goodbye. Did you notice
that is really frustrating to me.
That is so rude.
I know. Well, I don't know if I should get off the phone because I'll go, okay, goodbye.
Yeah, and then like, what the hell? They don't say return the salutation. I think that's so rude.
Yeah. Or people start talking to me and they just assume I either have caller ID on that phone, which I don't. I have some antiquated phones that are on the wall, in the kitchen, and I'm not taking it down because it's got a speaker function. It's got all the memorized little keys on there, but it doesn't have caller ID because it's like, 25 years old. But they just start talking to me. I'm like, okay, you sound like 2 or 3 ladies I know, and let's see. So she keeps talking till I can recognize, and then sometimes it's like the same people. and they're people that I hardly ever talk to, and like, you need to identify yourself.
Yeah. So I would like to propose someone to call in and give us your opinion. Where'd that get started? Where the person doesn't return the salutation? Because I'm very.
Is it more in the ending of the phone call, or is it not the beginning?
To a professional at Comcast. I mean, a customer service representative. You could be talking to your neighbor. You could be talking to someone at work. You could be talking on the phone, or you could be walking, in the grocery store. And it's only been the last 6 months or a year. And it's just been in the last recent
It's so weird how society just evolves. I remember when I was a child, I would dream of referring to any adult as anything other than Mr. or Mrs. Never, ever would have happened. And then here I am raising my own kids, and I just got into the habit with the people that I was close with when they were little, and they started to learn to talk by calling them by their first name, when I should have started them on the Mr. and Mrs. too. And I really respect a lot of the parents out there that do. They say, of course, Michaels is my maiden name, so they say Mrs. Michaels. I'm like, nah, sorry. But Ms. Michaels.
It's Ms. now.
Yeah, it's really Ms. Michaels.
Mrs. or
Yeah, that's the first thing I did when I got divorced. I took back my last name. I just, Lisa is such a common name.
Yeah.
That in my sorority in college, people would walk down the hall and they'd say, there was like 5 or 6 Lisas in the house. So they'd say, hi Lisa Michaels, hi Lisa Michaels. It was like Mary Ann. Michaels was like the Ann part of Mary Ann. It was like a 2-part name. So to be without it, plus it's my Screen Actors Guild name too. So.
Are you an actress?
I am an actress.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yes,
what have you done?
I did a full-on Jack in the Box commercial, just me talking about my honey-cured ham sandwich.
Did you
in front of my plantation in Burbank.
Did you have a little costume on?
Oh yeah, they erected a tent, and the whole commercial was just me talking. They must have done like I don't know, 70 or 80
takes. Have you been in a play?
Oh, several.
Really?
Yeah, and I've been in several commercials, and I was on a show called Around Town. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember that.
It was on Coin. It was they tell you where to eat in Portland, and it was like a PM magazine type show in the middle of, with Dave Anderson. Do you know who Dave Anderson is?
I don't.
He's on that AM Northwest show.
So
anyway,
I've
been a lot of stuff.
If you could pick a role,
huh?
If you could choose the role, what would you choose in this? A movie or a TV show or?
Gosh, wow.
Would you like to be on Gone with the Wind? You want to be Scarlett?
Scarlett O'Hara. I know. No.
You want to be Julie Andrews? You want Julie Andrews and
yes.
Sound of Music?
Sound of Music. Oh. Let's see. I think
or
I would like to do what I did.
Superwoman.
I did this down in Los Angeles, and I showed some of the videotapes, much to my ex-husband's chagrin, because he was the host of the Joe Show, and he was Joe. His name is not Joe.
Was Joe your ex-husband?
No, Joe. He's not my ex-husband. Joe. My Joe show was predated by like I don't know how many 10 years. I started doing those shows back in 1988, so it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
And I was trying to be an actress down in Hollywood, and I got my Screen Actors Guild card, but I needed to get some more exposure. And I wanted to do lots of different characters, and being the way I looked at the time, I would get soap opera auditions, and I get all these things, and it is all based on the way you look. And so I wanted to do something where I could be a different character all the time. So he was Joe. We said let's do a show like those cable access shows where everybody wants to be on TV, and so they name the show after themselves and everything else. So we were kind of spoofing the shows where people, like if I were to call this the Lisa Show.
Oh yeah.
And so we figured Joe rhymed with show, and Joe was not my ex-husband's name, and so we had him be Joe, but he didn't want anybody to recognize him, so he wore dark glasses, big, thick, kind of Jack Nicholson dark glasses.
Oh.
And then we would come on, my sister, who's an actress, very funny gal, but she quit and is now the homemaker back in Boston area. And she would come on as a different character, I would come on as a different character, and then we had this other guy, and we would have this conversation with Joe as this character, like I was Reverend Anita More Money, and I healed this man's hemorrhoids right there on TV.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah, it's really zany stuff. Like,
hey, we got someone on hold.
It was bizarre. Anyway, that's what I did, and that's what I would love to do. I love improvisational comedy. I also did the Brody. All right, Christopher. Do we have a Christopher on the phone?
Kristen.
I'm sorry, we took off the teleprompter too quickly. Hey, Kristen, thanks for calling.
Hey, you look great on that couch.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Kristen, we just saw you on TV.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks for repeating that one.
Oh, now you look great in there. She was the second one, the video that we saw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Kristen,
welcome.
my campaign manager.
You got off a little subject there on
I
about
know,
you,
we
about you
digress.
there for a while. So,
yeah, sorry, get that.
What is the question again? Oh, yeah, keeping score.
Yes.
Well, I think that is something that when you're newly in a relationship and young and really haven't had a whole life experience, that's something that you feel like you must do because you don't want to condone what the other person is doing and you don't want to feel like you're giving in to something you don't believe in. But as somebody that's been divorced, I look at it now as something that should never happen.
I see.
And life's too short.
So it should never happen. I'm sorry, Kristen. They should never keep score. Or they should forget about things that bothered them in the past and not hold it a grudge or anything.
Yeah, grudges. Forget that. That's worthless.
Yeah, there's no upside to that.
I think what your guest said about coming to some kind of conclusion and learning something about it, that's a way of doing it, but most young people don't know how to do that. And life experience tells you that men are certainly worthy people, and they don't, in my experience, don't really want too much out of their partners, and I think women tend to overanalyze and exaggerate.
Do you think we're too demanding?
I think we're too self-involved.
Huh.
Ah, interesting. Interesting. And you don't think men are self-involved?
I think men are pretty simple people.
They're good or bad?
I know this is a G-rated show.
Yeah, so watch how you phrase things.
There's only a few things they want, and and I just think that women. I just feel really bad for a lot of women who can't just have an attitude of gratitude.
Oh.
Ah, interesting.
Oh, there you go.
It sounds like you're a disciple of Dr. Laura and proper care and feeding of husbands.
But I also really feel that your past can't predict what you feel. I mean, yes, it can predict what you feel in the moment, but it can't. You can do something about the moment or the moment that you're in at the time and not have to bring your whole past into it. That's your history. It doesn't really have to do with what's going on at the moment, and you can make a decision on how you're going to treat the other person. And my whole thing is, I was, and you were talking earlier, Lisa, about your divorce lawyer, and my divorce lawyer told me, men leave for other women, and women leave for a better life.
Oh, fascinating.
And that was certainly true in my case. I did leave for a better life.
And did you find it?
I did not leave for a better life. He left for another woman.
But did you find a better life, though?
It's been a struggle, but I see...
We'll see, but the person she's saying that one of them leaves.
Oh, it's one of the
One
other.
of them leaves.
Yeah.
If the man leaves, he's leaving for another woman. If the woman leaves, she's leaving for a better life. Well, she didn't want him to leave, so she wasn't leaving for a better life.
I got you.
Do you see where that is? Goes on that one, yeah. It's not fun. It's not fun that way.
What is a better life to you?
Yeah.
I mean, can you capsulize that?
Wow. Well, I have my kids. Strangely enough, it has been a real struggle for me. I've learned a lot. I've had to learn to be do-it-yourself. I've had to learn to...
Independence?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I would call it independent, but I've had to learn a lot because I'm college educated, and I just couldn't a guy... My former spouse fixed everything. God love him. I miss him. He fixed everything. He built everything and he fixed everything.
Sure, yeah.
And I let him. And
there you go. There's that letting them fix
there
things.
You go.
Mine didn't fix things that much.
But I have found out instead of giving the $28 an hour to an 18-year-old that hasn't even gone to college, I've had to learn how to install things in the house. So maybe that is a benefit from all that. But I don't know, a better life. I think I'm healthy, and that's great.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
I have this theory. I talked to Lisa a little bit before the show that I wanted to kind of test at some point. Maybe this is a good time. That in terms of relationships, of course, this show's about that primary significant relationship. But I've recently come to a feeling that, you know, you really have everybody you're talking to. Like I'm talking to you right now. I talked to the other team here as we got started on the show. I try to make each conversation a good relationship, and in other words, if it's a store clerk or whatever you're doing, and the theory is that if you have a better relationship with everyone that you come in contact with, that's going to increase your skills to have relationships with that significant other. In other words, as opposed to focusing on just that significant other relationship, pardon me, you want to focus on every relationship that you're involved with at any time, throughout the day. Now, do you want to weigh in on that one?
Hey, I think I am a real believer of embracing the now, right now.
Oh, okay.
Right now, and putting all your attention into what is happening right this moment. Not in my head what's going to happen 10 minutes from now, but right now as I'm speaking to you.
All right.
As I'm speaking to you, I want to give my full attention to you and to Lisa about what the subject is right now.
Okay.
And not have all those things go on in my head that are saying, oh, I have to turn off something in the kitchen, or my kid has to go to bed. And I think that if you can do that, be real conscious when you're meeting somebody in a store and giving your money to somebody behind as a clerk or whatever, and be real conscious of everybody because you're in the moment, because really that's all you have is right this moment.
And live in the present.
You have to embrace the present. And I think women, when they first start out in relationships, young women, when they first start out in marriages or relationships, I personally don't believe in living with somebody without some kind of a commitment. But
I agree with you on that one, girlfriend.
I just, my dad was, why buy the cow? If
you're going to get that milk for free, there's just absolutely no reason.
So, and I certainly wouldn't want to teach my daughter or my sons to do that. But anyway, what I'm saying is, I think their minds are about, what the future. How do I look? How do I look as a spouse? How does my home look? How does the house? All those things that really don't matter. They really don't matter in a relationship. It's really about the two people communicating right now.
Did you see the Eckhart Tolle and Oprah and her thing on the book review of his book?
I've read the book, and I've read The Power of Now.
A New Earth, yeah.
And I truly, I
well,
think
it is. It's all you can do, because we can think about and we can pine away for those good old days. But you know what? We're never getting those good old days back.
They don't have the power.
And yes, and we can't do really anything about the future. We can plan for the future, but we can't do it.
And
what we do have is now.
Our calendars are okay, but talking to you and is the most important thing to me right now.
Well, good. I feel the same way.
I think people are just not real conscious when they're speaking to their partners, and really understanding each other. And anyway, that's about all I have to say right now.
Well, Kristen, those are great comments. I just always think I spend too much time wasting my time pining away and thinking about the past, and oh gosh, and I'm always enjoying and regretting not enjoying the previous phase of my life, because I view my life as a series of phases, and not enjoying the one I'm in now. So then in like a few years, I'll look back at the time I am now, and I'll think, gosh, why didn't I enjoy that a lot more? And I remember special moments like holding my baby and rocking him in the rocking chair and thinking how sweet and little and cute he was, and thinking, oh gosh, I just don't want you to grow up. And now they're all grown up, and the whole thing. It's just, life goes by so fast, doesn't it?
We got 4 minutes left. Speaking about going by fast,
I'll talk to you about that in person. But when you do think of your memories, you are thinking of them now.
That's true. Good point.
That's the most important thing.
Hey, do you want
That's
to come
true.
be on the show as a guest sometime?
Yeah, she has been.
Sure, Lisa.
Yeah, you have. You've been on the show.
Oh, yeah, I have.
You
I
were.
have.
She was one of the gals that I had on when I had the
You were on.
Beaverton View, and we'll do another Beaverton View and get some women on there and have that show. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And Kristen, I hope you can come out with us. You're going to be back in town on June 1st. We can go to Bullwinkle's together and
Taking
get
Davis to go see Rush.
Oh, fun. On the 1st of June on Sunday?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
We've got Rush tickets.
Oh, wow. Well, that'll be fun for you. I guess you'll miss it. But everybody else, you guys come out to Bullwinkle's and the Family Fun Center in Wilsonville on June 1st, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, somewhere around there. And find me, track me down, and I'll put you on videotape. And you can be just like Kristen was on the show through the perspectives. But thank you so much, Kristen. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thank
bye-bye.
you.
You bet.
Bye. So we got to get that salutation in.
Yes.
Did you notice we did that? We both said goodbye. That was good.
Yes.
And we were very in the present with her on the phone.
Well, that's how we were.
And I didn't hold any grudges, nor did I keep any score. We really didn't have that. We didn't develop our relationship that much.
She was good.
She was, isn't she great?
The first caller was too. Both callers were
both
great.
of them, and they're both friends of mine, very articulate women, and that's great. You too can be articulate on the show if you want to give us a call and talk, but not tonight because we only have 2 minutes left. So we will be on again on the 28th of May at 8 o'clock, from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. If you're watching this on a rerun on Channel 11. It's Comcast Channel 11, 8 to 9. And you can watch our shows on Google Videos. Just Google Lisa Michaels on the Google Videos, or you can go to our website that Dennis Gleason put together, Darkwing Productions, which is at What's Between Us, all one word, even though it's not really all one word, .org. So www.whatsbetweenus.org, and email me. And
you have
give us a call.
YouTube too, right? Don't you have a
Yeah,
YouTube
I'm on
presence?
YouTube too, and there's links on the website for both the YouTube and the Google videos.
I just saw your YouTube link here just last week. It's great.
Did you?
Yes,
did you like it? You're on it. You're on one of them.
I think that's right. I think it's one of my previous shows.
Yes.
Well, I was on your, but I think YouTube is such a great facility.
Isn't it? Do you have some videos up? You do have some videos up on YouTube.
Just a few, but not. There's nothing to direct someone to. They're just to kind of create the presence, kind of learn the technology, because I think it's possibly one of the future ways of mass communication.
Oh, I know. I think so too. If you have something, opinion you want to put out there, it's much more impactful, I think, to put it on in video than it is to type into one of the blogs. But that's just me. Well, it looks like we've got 1 minute left, so definitely check us out on that. And thank you to Dennis and all the folks out there in the control room. We've got a great crew. We've got 2 new, Stefano and
I don't remember. Yes.
Jarrell.
Okay.
Jarrell. Right. I remembered that from the Superman thing. Is our new crew folks, and we want to thank them. And thank you. So please tune in and watch us again next time on May 28th at 8 o'clock. I'm Lisa Michaels, and it's been fun talking about what's between us.
Great show.
Thanks.
Great show. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
We got the salutation.